What's up, everybody? It's the Hardy Construction. You can find us at hardyconstruction.tumblr.com, youtube.com/hardyconstruction, as well as facebook.com/the Hardy Construction with your host, Comp, and
Loose cocks.
that joke we just did before we recorded just got to me again. I don't know why. I'm the one that said it. We'll get to it later. Anyway, so today's film is
The Loved Ones, 2009.
The Loved Ones, 2009. When Brent turns down his classmate Lola's invitation to the prom, she concocts a wildly violent plan for revenge. Directed and written by Sean Byrne, starring Xavier Samuel, Robin McLeavy, and Victoria Thane. This film, why did you choose The Loved Ones, Danny?
I heard it was good, and I don't know.
You were mistaken?
I guess I was mistaken.
Yeah, The Loved Ones is
not completely mistaken, but yeah.
Yeah, The Loved Ones is a film I was aware of, obviously, since 2009. For the longest time, I'd seen a lot of posts of it on Tumblr. And it was funny, Danny and I had a little argument about this film because I wasn't really interested in watching this film. I'd seen the ending. For some reason, I just looked online and I just saw the ending a long, long time ago, probably around 2009, 2010.
He does that. He ruins things. Like, he knows.
Yeah, if I don't want to see the movie, I'll just look at the ending
it.
of the movie. You said what? I ruined what about the Dark Tower?
You know the ending. Oh, not Dark Tower. What was it? Oh, Twin Peaks. You know, like, there's random things.
Believe me, I wish I knew the ending of the Dark Tower to ruin those books
and like
for
Battlestar Galactica and
that was funny. That part where that fat guy lets that lady. What does he do? He makes her fly out of a suction into space. I forgot what.
I don't want you ruining it for our
very
listeners.
Good. So anyway, The Loved Ones. I'd seen pieces of this, and to me, I was arguing with Danny because it made no logic. This argument, because I was like, this is one of those torture movies where ironically though, I'm a hypocrite.
He's trying to say that all
hold on.
the same.
I'm a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite in a way that I enjoyed Hostel, and that was essentially a torture film. But the torture for that film was mainly just probably about 15 minutes out of the whole film, and them running away. But The Loved Ones, I was like, oh Jesus, this is like misery, and I'm gonna get shit obviously from Thea, and Thea loves this movie too, I think. Because I think it was posted on her site, on her Tumblr a lot. On harbor.tumblr.com. No, I'm not saying you loved it. I'm saying Thea loved it, or liked it at least. That's from what I'm aware of. And I was like, it's just some torture movie where a guy gets tortured for like 40 minutes. It's just gonna be fucking boring torture shit. That like I for some reason I get anxious when I watch these types of films. Because I feel
that makes sense.
It probably means like I'm getting.
That means that you're sane and healthy.
I'm thinking about that I'm like being bullied as a child or something, and it's getting back to me. Somebody just having power over somebody for the whole film, but that's not true because I watch American Psycho and he's slashing people down left and right. Anyway, so watching, I was having an argument with Danny that I was like, this is just gonna be like Misery, where like I got a confession. I haven't really fully seen Misery. I've seen pieces of it.
Oh my god!
I know it's a good movie, but I haven't watched it.
We're gonna have to watch.
That's why Thea's gonna bust my ass. And I was like, I don't really want to see a guy just stuck in a room for like 2 hours. Even though we saw movies like, what was that movie with the Canadian science fiction movie, Cube, stuff like that, people stuck in a room, but they're doing stuff, they're talking, they're helping each other.
Yeah, but this is the thing.
And hold on, but let me get back to the argument with you. Is that I'm like, this is just like Misery. He's like, it's nothing like Misery, and I'm like, let me see. Is there a guy that's in distress who's kidnapped? Yes,
but it is nothing like Misery. It's a completely different movie.
Is he being tortured unmercifully?
Yes. The characters are different.
Is the woman obsessed with the guy? Yes. And I'm like, yeah, it's got similar tropes. That's what I'm just saying. I wasn't saying the woman's going to get hit in the head with a fucking typewriter.
That's like saying that Jason and Freddy Krueger are the same.
Essentially, they are, though.
No, they're not.
They're slasher killers. What are you talking about?
They're slasher killers, but their whole way of going about it is completely different. The whole mood of the movie
So, is it safe to say
different.
Jason, Michael Myers are more similar then?
Yeah, you could say that. Sure.
Okay, then. So that's what I'm saying.
Although the vibes of those movies are completely different too.
Anyway, so this movie, I finally saw this movie after a long time, and you know what? I didn't hate it. I think Danny didn't like it less than I did, but I didn't hate it.
I had a lot of issues with it.
The weird thing about this film, The Loved Ones, is, and because as soon as I saw the opening of it, because the film is very nicely shot, it's very nicely filmed. The movie looks great. I got into it as soon as the opening was basically you hear a radio tune, like somebody tuning the radio in the car, changing the stations on the radio, and at least there's a really great song called "Lonesome Loser" by the band Little River Band, and I was like, okay, well I'm in. As soon as it has a nice little intro like that, I was like, this is pretty cool. And it starts out with what, Danny?
It starts. Oh, what is the first scene? Oh, it's
Brent and his dad in the car.
Yeah, Brent and his dad. Brent and his dad are driving, and then some. I can't, some. It's never explained, but it looks like a fucking zombie or something is walking in the street.
Did you not know what that was? I immediately figured out what that was as soon as.
Oh, is that one of the people that escaped?
Obviously, yeah. Oh, did you think
Okay,
it was
I
some
actually
random
didn't
guy
think
in
of
the
that.
street?
Okay, that's a little clever.
I don't
So
think
anyway,
it's as
they
clever as it
swerve.
wants
The
to be.
dad dies. That's actually clever. I like that. Now
Okay.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's completely linked to somewhere in the middle, but that leaves a giant plot hole in the center of the film. This film is essentially this: it's half a kidnapping film, half after school special, and this did not
And they
need to
make
be.
no sense together. I don't understand it.
It does in a way because let me just break it down for you a minute. So the main guy Brent, he looks I forgot he looks like he sort of looks like the kid from American Horror Story, that actor. I keep forgetting that guy's name.
Kit?
He looks like Kit from American Horror Story. Anyway, so he gets into a car accident with his dad. He kills his dad by accident because they were swerving to miss this guy that was looked like a guy who was obviously in distress in the middle of the road. Father dies.
Yeah.
Shoots about a year or so later.
Distress or not, he walk on the sidewalk, asshole.
It shoots a
Jesus.
couple of months, but I think if he went through the same thing that the main character went through, I think that's probably why he was all disoriented. So he couldn't talk, obviously, which disturbs me even more when I figure out what happens at the end of the film. But he swerves out of the way. A couple months later, nearly a year after the situation, the son is obviously super traumatized by the event. His mother is walking on eggshells around him. She's worried because she lost her husband, and she sort of blames her husband, sort of blames her son,
It's
sort of
all
doesn't,
her fault.
because he was driving and he wasn't a very experienced driver. And it's coming up to a dance that's coming up in the school. The split story is his best friend is this guy named what is his name? Where's that character? I'm trying to find
Lumpkin McPeterson.
No, I believe it's Jamie. Jamie
Yeah.
is his friend, played by this actor named Richard Wilson. Is wants to date this girl who's obviously got a lot of depressing problems. I think her name is Mia. I'm not too sure. Played by Jessica
Mia.
McNamee. Anyway, the way that those characters are introduced, I'm thinking, they might come back later into the film and have some direct correlation with the movie. Like they'll stumble onto the house or something like that.
I actually just learned something in the Wikipedia.
Yes.
That makes it a little cooler.
Yes, because obviously what happens is her brother was a kid that was in the beginning of the film that almost got hit by the car.
Yeah, but when did they say that?
Because she, I don't know why I'm getting frustrated. Around the end of the film, she's so drunked up after the prom, after she has sex with the friend, and she goes to the house and the father's tucking her into the bed, and she's like, you never found him, and they show the photo of the kid. That was the same kid that Lola.
Okay, well, it's so quick that I didn't even put that together.
Yeah, Lola's like, this one, he's the one that got away. She says that when she's showing them the scrapbook.
They should have focused more on that and less on a song that's going on.
I got it. I got it. So maybe you just weren't really paying attention to it.
No, I was paying attention. I just missed.
Essentially, what they're doing, that whole B plot with Jamie and the girl Mia, is they're trying to show some human element of what Lola's vengeance has done on her family, but it was I didn't really like it. They could have cut that whole side story out because honestly, it didn't mean anything to me. That's what
I'm saying. That was my main problem.
We saw Brent's own depression going on with his problem. You know what I mean?
It's like we have a half an hour of the movie is pretty much 100% unrelated
to the main plot, and they try to link it together. And because I was watching, going, what the fuck do I care about these two characters at this prom? And because it felt like
it was funny and cute, I guess, but it was like a completely separate thing. It
felt like a weird, like I said, after school special, like the dangers of teen drinking at proms. That's what it felt like to me. I was like, this isn't. And they try to link it like, that was her brother who was killed or kidnapped before,
which I didn't even pick up on. So I guess
so it was sort of pointless. Like for those 15 or 20 minutes that were dedicated to them, it could have just fleshing out Lola as a villain. You know what I mean? Like they could have focused more on her and her father as bad guys that you can give a shit about. Because I remember seeing I was reading the trivia for this film, and some reviewer said that the Lola character is one of the best villains of all time. I was like, no, not really, because she.
Yeah, why is she? That's bullshit.
Yeah, because I think it's because they're trying to make a female villain, and she could have been. She had the she had the aesthetic for it, she had the act for it, the way she acted and everything was great. Like she was a total, asshole, but it wasn't somebody that you like thought about secondly besides her look. Do you know what I mean? She was just sort of she was just being an asshole in the film, and there's nothing deep about it other than she's probably a spoiled brat that wants to fuck her dad. Like and her father was the actor who played her father, John Brumpton, who played Daddy. He was great too. He was a real scumbag.
If she wasn't insane, or if I knew I could get away with it, I would totally go to the prom.
Oh, she's hot. She's a very pretty girl in the film. Essentially, what it is we just jumped around on the plot.
Do you think if you agreed to go to prom with her, that it would result in the same thing, or do you think it would
I think so, obviously, because her father was the one that she really gave a shit about. I think had he went to the prom with her, she would have just done the same thing. Like, he would have just came to her house to give her the corsage or whatever.
So there's no way to get sex without getting knives through
No.
feet.
She would have. Her father was the one that she wanted to fuck, and I guess her mother was the one that they called Bright Eyes, the lady with who had the trepanation done, where they did the Jeffrey Dahmer shit on her. I will say this: the violence in the movie is it's not explicit graphic violence, but it's like mostly sounds and kind of cut off screen, but it's really jarring. Like the sound design is really good. Like when they're doing the trepanation on him, you know what trepanation is, right?
I never knew that word, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, trepanation. I think it's they bore a hole into the center of your forehead. I don't know what the rest of it is, but that's all I remember is like it's that, and it's supposed to give you like a drug. Or a third eye opening or some shit like that. Because you know how they say the third eye is opening in the center of your forehead that you can see whatever the fuck's...
It seems to have
into other worlds. Yes, but like just that sound alone when they were drilling into his forehead and you just hear the drill going through... And also the sound design of, I guess, I don't know what they injected into his throat. Does it say anything in the wiki, like what they injected into his throat so he couldn't scream?
Yeah, well, I think they just pierced his larynx or something.
Okay, and so he can't talk or anything, and he just has this kind
of... Oh, no, it's saying it's bleach.
Oh, so they put bleach down his throat. I guess does that mean he's like can't speak forever again?
That sounds like a bad case of strep throat right there.
Yeah, because the people that were underneath I guess she had also made these sort of zombies of all the other previous guys that she had taken in and threw them into the underground, basically a sub-basement.
It's like the people under the stairs.
Yeah, and they couldn't talk either, so I assume that's what happened to him. So I guess he can't talk ever again unless he gets some medical...
All those guys turned her down for the prom. They deserved it.
No, I think some of them actually probably did yet, but how many proms could she go through? I don't think there's only like
there's the freshman dance, there's the sophomore...
But this was Australia, is it?
Merengue. I don't know. No, New Zealand.
Is it New Zealand?
I don't know.
I always mix the two up.
Oh, no, it is Australian.
I think, I remember this being some Australian. This guy also directed a film called The Devil's Candy that I heard really good things about. And I think that has that guy from that horrible We Are Still Here movie. You know, the hippie guy?
Oh, yeah.
I saw him in the street and I wanted to say something.
I can't think of his name right now, but he's like a really big guy.
In the indie horror scene that guy's pretty big. Now I have to look at his name. But tell me, what are things that you actually liked about the film?
I mean, I liked Lola and I liked her dad, and it's just the film was like all over the place in like mood and the plot, the side plots and shit. Like it was just confusing to me actually. Larry Fessenden, by the way.
Pruitt, I thought it was you're right, Larry Fessenden. That's true. I know what you mean because like. I think it's just that definitive split between the two sequences.
But also, it's like randomly, like, kind of like dramatic and sad. Like, which I get, his dad died, but like, you can't go from like some silly sort of scene to like a sad scene, like with no explanation. I don't know. It's just like all over the place.
Yeah, the film. I gotta say this: the art design of the film, like the way it looks, the production design is fantastic. The way that, like, they have those really awesome long zoom-in takes, like, especially the part when Lola gets hit by the car at the end, and she's sort of just looking at the car off screen, and you see the reflection of the car going into her eyes. Like, that stuff is great. I actually did the gestures of my fingers going into my face, like if somebody.
I liked her dragging herself like Chucky with the knife.
Yeah, it was really good. Like, she looked like she was in pain. They're really good. Actually, also the main character's girlfriend. Like she looked for some reason she looked like an adult woman. Like I didn't. She looked like a
She was
teenager.
kind of like
to
a
me.
pointless character, though.
Yeah, because I think they were trying to make her. I think what they were trying to do was to make a female hero that saves the guy in the end, even though she really doesn't.
Yeah, she doesn't do anything.
And the mother, yeah, they're like the female characters besides what is the girlfriend? Is it Holly, the girlfriend? Her hair is like short in the IMDb, so she looks different.
If they wanted to like tie all these things together, they should have had like Mia and Jamie like rescue, or like somehow
yeah,
be
just by
involved in
accident or
rescuing
something. I mean,
him.
but that's like probably people think that's probably shitty American writing. Do you know what I mean? They'll probably think, oh, that's too...
It's writing that has anything to do with the other parts of the story.
Right, that's true, because there's no link. There's no, like, actual
the only link is that Mia's
connection.
Dad is the cop, and her brother
her son,
apparently
yeah.
died. Which
I assume that. I think that was her brother.
Really
I couldn't think that was maybe her boyfriend, but I guess it was her brother. Yeah, Mia is sort of like this drunken problem. And I really don't understand the point of those scenes. I understand what they're doing, like, oh, why is this girl? What is her problem? And then we find out, oh, her brother was the one that got. Even though, where the fuck did he go? He was walking. He didn't get hit by the car, right? Did he just die? And then they didn't report his body. You know what I mean?
They probably caught him again.
No, but she said he's the one that got away. So that's us thinking that maybe he never got caught back, but where the fuck did he go? Do you know what I mean? Like, did he just die in the woods and get sunk into the floor? Like, what the fuck happened? Like, there's no explanation of what happened to him.
The car crash with the dad dying, obviously cops and ambulances came, so wouldn't they see that guy walking like 10 feet away?
Exactly. Like, what happened? Unless he fell into some sort of pit or something that they never found him. It doesn't make any sense. The more we talk about it, there's a lot of story issues with this. I do like the way that the film looks, at least, and the main actor is very good with being in pain, and the graphic gore, like with the hammering the knife through the feet. Although it would make sense if it was nails. I don't think if you try to hammer a knife,
would be more painful though.
Yeah, but I think a knife would break as soon as you hammer it. It's not like
they get like
knife.
the fancy French butcher knives, like the best of the line.
Ooh.
Anthony Bourdain approved.
Oh, and he would hand it to you and then complain about how rock music is dead because he's so fucking cool. And I do like that guy, but he's just he's starting to become a parody of himself. Like nothing's cool enough. Do you know what I mean? Anyway,
I've actually heard somebody just like 2 days ago saying that same exact thing.
It just gets depressing. It's just like, all right, because I remember when. Okay, here's the thing. Like Baby Driver, the one that Edgar Wright just directed. Like I enjoyed that. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then he was like, oh, this is bullshit. The Raid is better. And they're not only are they two completely different sorts of genre with action. I thought Baby Driver was pretty good for what it was, and I don't understand the comparison to the Raid. I think he was just complaining.
I didn't see either, so.
I think he was just complaining that it was sort of a hipster sort of film. If anybody sees Baby Driver, just go watch Baby Driver. I think you'll enjoy it. Anyway, with this film, I think obviously issues with the pacing of it, because as soon as it cuts away from him being tortured from this weirdo family, the movie like screeches to a halt. And I do like that they introduce his rock climbing skills at the beginning of this film. Because then you see it kind of repeated. Yeah, it kind of repeats it twice. And sometimes it's super, like, obvious that it's going to come back into play into film. But at least this one, it was sort of okay. Because he does it, like, twice. Like, the part where they try to crash the car into him when he climbs a tree. So that's the second instance. And then third one, he piles the bodies together so he can climb out. He has, like...
Look at you with the foreshadowing.
He has to kill the rest of the zombies underneath. These so-called, like, tortured guys to get out. And then, like, they don't even show when she...
Why are they bad, though?
No, they're trying to eat him. They're, like,
but
starved.
how long could they have really been down there?
Yeah, I don't know. Because, I mean, like...
They turned into, like, cannibals. And
I don't know what they... Oh, no. That they explain when they boil the water and into the brain, essentially they become zombies and do whatever you say. So, I guess that's what happened. That is essentially what
Jeffrey Dahmer was trying
hilarious
to do.
Jeffrey Dahmer did when he tried to make a zombie out of a young Asian boy. And then the cops gave him right back to him.
He wasn't successful. Leave it to a woman to do it.
I think Jeffrey Dahmer, if he would have just started throwing more barbells at people, they would have came back at him.
If Jeffrey Dahmer just could have convinced more cops to give him more victims at his doorstep.
Yeah, he could have made it much easier.
Maybe been successful.
He could have been much more successful if he actually threw the bodies out. Do you know what I mean? Because that's why he got caught, because his house smelled.
Or if he just got a better freezer or larger freezer.
His first kill he got away with. You know what I mean? Like, he killed that guy, the guy with the... Don't go.
Oh, that's a horrible movie.
If you ever see the movie The Secret Life of Jeffrey Dahmer, it's the greatest, horrible, worst movie of all time.
It is horrible. Don't go.
Don't go. Anyway, but yeah, it's sort of messed plot-wise, especially with that missing
stay.
brother.
He says
stay. Okay. Stay. Yeah, but why would you say that? Yell? It's all right. Never mind. You got to see that movie, The Secret Life of Jeffrey Dahmer. You got to see it. Please go see that movie. It's incredible that movie got even made, and somebody like
it's funny, and also you get to learn about Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, like that he sits at his sofa with the decomposing skull of some guy that he knew, and you hear like a white blue-eyed soul music, and during that scene, it's great. Anyway, yeah, so I could understand, like, the acting all around is great. The females in the movie are essentially useless, except for the main villain Lola, but she's sort of like a 2D character that has there's no weight to her as well. And it makes it sound like I hate this movie. I didn't hate it.
She's okay. Lola's okay.
Yeah, she's good as a villain, but she's not. She's sort of super paper thin. When there's like bad guys in horror films that are like super paper thin, like let's say Wishmaster or some shit like that. Do you know what I mean? Like they're blank slates. Like even Jason had a fucking background story to him. Do you know what I mean? It was just like it's not as a very thin background story, but his motivation. She just sort of seems like spoiled princess sort of thing. I guess that's what they were going with. And obviously the sexual tension between her and her dad is like this weird bent to it. But they should have just focused more on those two instead of putting that stupid side story. It just didn't feel like necessary to the film at all. And when the director puts
100%.
The director going, oh, see, they are connected to the story. It's like, no, obviously the main character had a trauma because of what Lola had done to that guy in the beginning of the film. Do you know what I mean? It's like he had a trauma because he got into an accident because of her fucking doings inadvertently.
They should have at least talked about that more, the other story. Like, talked about her brother and shit. So at least there's, like, more of a connection. Like, they mentioned it once so quickly that I didn't even pick up on it. And I had to learn it from a Wikipedia article.
But yeah, but I do like the like I was saying, the production design is really well done. Like the part where Mia's headbanging in slow motion and she's drinking, like that's a really beautiful shot in the film, and he's like admiring her. Like that's probably the only part I like about their scenes together. That that you see her in slow motion. It's such a beautifully shot sequence. But other than that, they could just get rid of that whole fucking side story and focus on this guy trying to get the fuck out of here. And this is me. Like I was like, I don't really want to see a guy stuck getting tortured for an hour and a half because it gets boring for me. But I was like waiting every time it went away from it. I was like, put it back, like because the main guy doesn't talk anymore throughout that first, after they inject him with bleach in his throat. And I would think maybe
much just sits there and squeaks.
And I would think that Lady Bright Eyes would probably do something like there's nothing really substantial that happens, and the film sort of feels like an extended short film. But it looks good. I mean, if you want to...
apparently this is the guy's first non-short film.
Yeah, so. It looks good, and it's pretty gruesome in its own right. So I would definitely recommend watching it. Just if you have nothing else to watch. But you certainly have to sort of sift through that B plot, which is totally unnecessary.
It really didn't make a lot of money either.
Also, the dog died. Did the girl just throw the dog out of the car? Am I crazy?
She stabbed it.
Yeah, no, I know the guy he hit it over the head with something, and the girlfriend was driving the dog back. Did she just throw the dog out of the car? Or am I going crazy? I could have sworn because she stops the car to stop. I really thought that she did that, but I guess I was wrong.
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, I guess that was a pointless thing I just said. I would give this film. I was gonna give it a 7, but I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Having somebody take a fork and carving their initials with you so you can never forget how much they loved you and you didn't love them.
I'm going to give it, I agree, a 6 out of 10. Realizing that your father is actually the one that you want to, be married to and have sex with. And how convenient, because he's right there.
I know. All that time.
You don't even have to try.
Like, all those poor young boys, and at least he's dedicated. All those guys, they could have just had their lives, and she could have
just needed to look inside her heart.
She could have just took wiener from her pops, like any normal girl would. Mm. With that, Danny, what's the final word?
Wiener.
The horror deconstruction.